welcome to CARA Update. The subject of today's program is school technology.
I think that STLP, Student Technology Leadership Program, is for everybody because it gives everybody a chance to realize that computers are not that hard to use. And for students, it gives them a chance to feel good about themselves. I mean, how many times would it take to realize that you're doing something special when a teacher comes up to you and asks you a question about a certain program? And for teachers, it gives them a chance to realize that there are some things they do know from being teachers, and there are some things they don't know, which can be learned from students.
So she came up to me because it was my period of work, and she asked me to help her, and I helped her, and she thought it was really cool that a kid could help a teacher out.
It's really tough for a young person to know who he is in this world. And if they have a method by which, in a safe environment, they can sample their ability to lead, then they know themselves much better. That's one of the goals we have established, to give students the freedom to develop their own leadership.
Now here's your host, Don Hall.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's edition of CARA Update. We're glad you could join us today. As part of today's broadcast, we'll be looking at the new Student Technology Leadership Program. It's an exciting new initiative that's a part of the KETS initiative, which is the Kentucky Educational Technology System. So stay with us as we learn a lot more about what STLP is about and how your school can be a part of it. Before we get into that part of the broadcast, we're going to have a KETS calendar update where we talk about some upcoming issues and some upcoming opportunities for participation. Starting in January, on the 17th, 18th, and 19th, we're going to be with our kickoff campaign for the Principals Technology Leadership Institute. This is a new program designed exclusively for principals as we try to help them understand and discover the power technology has for transforming their school, their practice, and its operations. The 17th will be in Louisville, Kentucky at the Executive Inn West. The 18th will be in Owensboro at the Executive Inn. And January the 19th will be in Lexington at the Holiday Inn North. Pre-registration materials have already been mailed, and if you have any additional questions or you want some more information, please contact us at the Kentucky Department of Education at 502-564-7168. Coming in February, we look forward to KETC, the Kentucky Educational Technology Conference. This is the 16th year for the state conference. It's grown each year. Last year we had nearly 4,000 participants, and this year we expect it to be even bigger and better. That will be February the 25th and 26th in Lexington, Kentucky. Again, for more information, contact your local KETS coordinator. Also, this year we're looking at something new as a part of KETC are our pre-conference workshops. Material for both of these have been sent to you in this month's edition of the Kentucky Teacher. You can be looking forward to participating in these events and many others, and if you have questions, again, your regional KETS coordinator will help you with that. So what is STLP, and how can you as a school garner the power and potential that's a part of this program? Well, today as we look at that, we've invited some special guests to be with us in the studio. We have Miss Cynthia Crocker, who is a technology resource teacher from No Middle School. And we'll come back to that, Cynthia, when we try to find out exactly what's a technology resource teacher do. And we also have with us Miss Linda Littlejohn, who's principal at Lebanon Junction Elementary in Bullitt County. And Linda comes with us with a rich background in the private industry, which we'll talk about. And finally, we have with us Lee Muse, a senior at Fleming County High School. And Lee has been instrumental, as the rest of the panelists, as a part of the State Advisory Council for STLP. as they've worked together to design the conceptual framework for this program. So what is STLP? How do you begin a program, and what does it look like in your school? Well, we're going to be looking at a video clip from North Drive Middle School in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where we see how they're beginning their journey into STLP and making it work.
That our students are having with our teachers using technology is a lot different than the regular classroom setting. It's more real life, it's more real world experiences, and when our students are able to leave our school, they do have those real life and real world experiences that they'll be able to use in any career or occupation that they may choose.
We wrote for a special class last year, and this is computer repair. We have first and second year students in here. They start with basics, learning what motherboards are, disk drives, how to put the machines together, how to check them out before they let them go out. They work on the computers that are in the county schools to do repair. The second year students, there are 3 of them. They'll be
Okay, that was a clip from a teaser, if you will, of something you're going to see a little more about this afternoon as well from Fleming County High School. I tell you what, gang, before we go any further, why don't we look at STLP as a conceptual framework, some of the work that you've done. For those that aren't familiar with it, there is a state advisory council that's composed of 20 members from across the state representing the 8 regions. This council is a group of teachers, administrators. They're also community and business leaders represented. We have a school board chairperson who's been sharing with us, but something that's made this really work and be beneficial is we have students on it because their perspective in designing the program has been invaluable to us. We're getting ready to look at a PowerPoint presentation where we look at the program goals and we look at the mission statement for STLP as we discover together what's the foundation behind what we're doing in the schools. The first part is in STLP, we have a statement that says the future is only as clear as the vision of those bringing it about. And I think that's really important because what we're talking about is designing a future where students and teachers and community members work together. Today we're going to be looking at some specific aspects of STLP. We're going to look at what is an STLP. We're going to look at who is an STL, or a student lead, technology leader. We're also going to look at what are the benefits of participation, benefits for students, benefits for the school, and benefits for the community. And finally, we're going to look at how do we, or how do you at this local school level participate in this exciting initiative. The guiding force behind STLP is the mission statement. The mission statement says very clearly that the mission of the Student Technology Leadership Program is to advance the individual capabilities to motivate all students and to create leadership opportunities through the use of technology. Supporting this mission statement are 6 goals. The first goal for the program is that STLP will develop activities which enhance the academic, social, and emotional growth of the student. We're looking at educating the whole child, not just one portion of it. And that's what Goal 1 is about. Our second goal is talking about STLP will provide leadership opportunities for all students. And again, the all is the critical part of this as we look at inclusion. Our third goal, we're looking at STLP will form learning partnerships between secondary students, being defined as middle school and high school, and elementary students. So there's an outreach effort between the levels of school. Goal number 4, the STLP will form learning partnerships between students with different technology skills. We're talking about peer tutoring and peer mentoring, where students share their expertise with each other, knowing that they have a variety of skills and expertises to share. Our 5th goal in STLP is that it will develop activities which benefit the communities the school serves. And this is one of the major parts of the program that distinguishes it from many other parts that we've seen in school initiatives. is that there is a community partnership and a link, a very strong link there. And finally, goal 6, STLP will develop activities which benefit the school and support cats. The support of the school in all the activities and the support of cats is critical because, as we said earlier, STLP is one part of the statewide program for technology and how it can change and impact the school systems. I think now we'll go ahead and we'll roll into a profile that we talked about earlier at North Drive Middle School in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, as we look at how they are implementing STLP.
But I just remember in 6th grade when I came to the school, the 6th graders have this class, which is a computer class where they learn how just basic computer skills, keyboarding, and stuff like that. So then Miss Smith announces over the intercom that they're going to be that whoever wants to be in this new computer club can be in it. Well, I was excited because I love computers and I love doing stuff on them and I want to know more about them. So I decided to get to the computer club.
I realized I wanted something different. I wanted something more than a computer club. So, to say the least, this just fell right in with what I would really like to have seen happen. Because computer clubs sometimes tend to be more play, and we want to use the computer as a tool to help students learn and to help them accomplish tasks. And so the Student Technology Leadership Program is an excellent tool for that. Throughout the years I've been here, I've always needed and had students as helpers within the lab. It would just be almost impossible for me to manage the kinds of things that go on in here without some help. And of course, in terms of faculty, you just don't have that. And so the student helpers have been wonderful for me to have. I teach 2 applications classes every day, so I have all the 6th grade students in the building. I get to know them then, and I see the ones particularly who seem to have an interest and an aptitude for this. So I've encouraged them to be helpers for me as 7th graders and 8th graders. With this program then, it just has been a perfect correlation with what I've already been doing, but in addition to it as well. And we're encouraging all students to be a part of this, as many as we can, and for them to continue to assist others, not only in here now, but they are helping throughout the building.
It was that moment of terror that really caught me, and then when he could step in and say, "Oh, this is what you do," you know, I was just like, thank goodness.
Y'all need any help? No. What does she have? What?
And they want to be assigned more than 1 9 weeks, but I try to include every person who applied for membership of the STLP. Every 7th and 8th grader will have an opportunity to be a helper in the lab. They assist students who come in to take the accelerated reader test. They assist students with word processing when they come in to type papers. Whatever is needed by individual students, then they will assist them.
Yeah, they're trying, and they can't get their password to get into accelerated reader or something, so we go and look it up for them, and makes them feel kind of better.
They help me. They do all kinds of things to help me out, format disks and run errands. And when classes are in, then they work as assistants to the teacher of the class as well as me in helping the students to log on to the program, understand how to use the program, and whatever needs to be done. Teachers will sign up for the laptops, and our student technology leaders will take the cart to the classroom where they are needed. The cart contains the 5 Macintoshes and a printer. So they kind of set up the room for me, set up the computers, and then as I need assistance, because I'm still learning, they come in and they kind of help me as well as the students that need assistance too. They assist the students in using the laptops to do their writing, and then they assist in printing out the finished documents when they're through with it.
That jack is right there, right there.
There are 4 different levels of the Student Technology Leadership Program. Not that they are necessarily structured levels,
because a student may be one of all 4 different levels at the same time. Everybody in the building is considered to be a starter. Everybody in our building is a technology user. So that's the definition of the starter. Then certainly every one of my student technology leaders would be a trainer, because they are all available to assist not only other students but each other as well, because we all have skills that can help other people, and we all have things that we need to learn from other people as well. We have several students who are developing into marvelous providers. We have one student who is entering vocabulary words, definitions, and sentences into a commercial program using the teacher editor feature, and he is preparing this for use by one of the special ed teachers using the vocabulary from her lessons in order to meet the needs of her students.
Recently I've been working on a program. It's called Word Attack Plus, and I type up things on it in the editor for different teachers throughout the school, such as their classes. They'll come in and work on the computer with the programs that I make. These are all the words that are in the certain chapter that they're studying in their book. It's a pretty neat advantage because you can come in anytime and do certain things for other teachers to actually help them out.
Oh, they're such a valuable resource. It'd simply be a waste not to tap into that, because they're so quick. You know, immediately they have figured out what to do with something, when I'm still sitting here going, no, let me think about this and let me think about that. They are 3 steps beyond me. So their ability to work quickly and come to a conclusion right away just really speeds us along, especially now that we're into these 45-minute class sessions and our time is limited. You know, when I haven't been trained fully in something, I don't feel comfortable with using it, but I can go in with this group and feel like that there are some resources there, and you know, I could feel intimidated by that. I could think, well, you know, I'm the teacher and they're the students, and this is awful for them to really be, you know, advanced over me, but they are and they will be forevermore. So, you know, I just have to find a comfort zone with that and then just let them go because they're ready.
I see students come in as 6th graders and watch their progress through the years that they are here. Jessica Hatchett, who's now at the high school, is a very good example of that. As a 6th grader, Jessica, of course, was enthusiastic and interested. She was a lab assistant, a lab helper then through her 7th and 8th grade years, and certainly became, to say the least, a provider before we even knew what how she would be defined.
It was a dramatic change because I started when I was in 8th grade, and most of the time I was just an average student. And then Mr. Hall came up to me and said that he wanted me to be on the advisory council, and I agreed. And now I go on all these trips, and there's 2 other students on the advisory council with me, so I'm not so alone. But it's nice to see that what I'm doing is benefiting the whole state.
It's just marvelous to see what happens with these students, and they seem to blossom. As you give them more responsibility and as they learn more, then they're just so capable of helping not only other students but teachers as well. The learning partnership with other schools, I think, is a wonderful thing too. We have already talked with an elementary school, one of our feeder schools, and they're excited about our partnering with them. Of course, we have students here that were students at that school. But what's interesting is that we have other elementary schools that want to partner also. And of course, there's only 3 middle schools here in Hopkinsville. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able eventually to reach all these other schools as well. And I even had a very interesting phone call the other day from a teacher out of our state who has heard about our Student Technology Leadership Program. And we talked for a while, and then I faxed some information to her. And even though she cannot be an official Student Technology Leadership Program, since she isn't in the state of Kentucky, we are going to communicate, and she will be having her own organization there. So I find that really fascinating.
And I think that is one of the things that's so exciting about this program, is that this is something new and different, and not just for Kentucky, but for the United States. Because one of the things we found as we started researching this program, there are no other states that are currently doing a statewide, state-supported program in student technology leadership. And in order to pull off something that radical and revolutionary, sometimes you have to do some things that are a little different. And one of those was on the State Advisory Council having a group of students. And Lee, I'll tell you what, it has been a joy working with you and Jessica that we saw in the film earlier, and Neil from Floyd County. How do you think, being involved in this from the very beginning, what kinds of strengths do you think that you were able to give us that probably we would have missed not having students?
Well, as a student, I realized that the program must be interesting before a student is going to become involved. It has to be. I tried to take on the role of any average student and think, is this going to be interesting to me? Is this going to help me learn? And that's where my portion of the input on the council came in. I felt like that the goals that were developed, the projects that we have alluded to and tried to create a process for them to develop their own, I've thought those, if they were exciting, interesting to me, they would be exciting or interesting to other students. And that's why I enjoyed being on the council, because I got to give my opinion.
And I don't think he was very shy about that either. One of the things that I found exciting is that in working with these students, twice we've heard them say that they try to look like a regular student or act like a regular student. I don't think there is such a thing as a regular student, because that's one of the things we found. Everybody is different. All of our students bring so many different kinds of abilities and perspectives. As a principal, Linda, if you had the ability to harness the energy of the students in that way, how do you think it can help you transform your school environment?
Well, I'm at the elementary level, so the only way that we can participate in STLP is to partner with a middle school or a high school. Bullitt County has just had a major initiative in getting our computers up and running, and it would certainly be nice if we could have some of the middle school students or high school students come to the elementary and not just work with our students, but work with our teachers as well. You know, we as adults sometimes are very much afraid of change and afraid of machines. We're afraid we're going to tear something up. And so sometimes it takes students working with us and even watching students work and their freedom, you know, they haven't learned to be afraid of it yet, in showing us how to go ahead and overcome that fear and just jump right in there and try things. And so I think those are two of probably the key issues for the elementary, is to work with our students. And sometimes our students at this level work just with academic programs. We can also teach our students at this level about electronic mail and communicating back and forth with the middle school and high school as well. And that's a big piece of technology, is learning to communicate outside of your location. And that's a big piece for us. And we're looking at doing some of that next year in science as well. So.
One of the things that's impressed me with the program we saw there and in other schools, including one we're going to see a little later, Cynthia, I think that the integration into the curriculum and instruction is one of the points that's really strong, because we're going to see a lot of examples, and a lot of talk has been about the technical side, and we're going to see some good examples of how that works. But I'm telling you, from my perspective and as an educator, I think it's really important to see the impact it has in the instructional area as well, and integrating that into the teaching.
I agree with you, Don. I feel that it's very important for the students and the teachers to look at technology not as a separate entity, but as part of the curriculum, integrated into the curriculum, also as part of units. At No Middle School in Louisville, we integrate technology into the curriculum, and I act as the technology resource teacher. Now, before you stated that you
tell me a little more about what that is.
Well, I am not classified as a computer lab teacher. I do not stay in the, I'm not stationed in the computer lab for 5 periods a day. I am available to assist teachers with technology, along with the technology assistants, and I seek out teachers who normally do not use technology, and I And my students are doing the same thing. Right now, the technology assistants at NO are working with their teams, and they are developing projects with their teams, and they are conferencing with their teams, and they're trying to show the teachers how to integrate technology into their curriculum. And it's working out. The teachers every day want to know, what can I do in order to get a team of techs to work with me so that they can bring the Laserdisc player in and show me how I can access the different things that we're doing in the classroom. So I feel that my job is more than just to teach 30 students at a time. It is to go out and make sure that the school as a whole is using technology, and that technology is not just in one classroom throughout the day.
That's great. I tell you what, we're going to be looking at another example of how STLP is being implemented in a school today. All the examples we're looking at, we might want to say one sample or one part of their program we might call a model, because we all understand, the committee members and the people in the schools that we've been fortunate to work with, that their program, although they've been doing STLP in some form, it's still a growth process for them as well. And they're looking at the opportunities they have for growing in the program. And I think our next program is from Fleming County High School, where they've been looking at some alternative methods for working with hardware maintenance and network maintenance and supplying technical assistance throughout their school.
The interaction that our students are having with our teachers using technology is a lot different than the regular classroom setting. It's more real life, it's more real world experiences, and when our students are able to leave our school, they do have those real life and real world experiences that they'll be able to use in any career or occupation that they may choose.
We wrote for a special class last year, and this is computer repair. We have first and second year students in here. They start with basics, learning what motherboards are, disk drives, how to put the machines together, how to check them out before they let them go out. They work on the computers that are in the county schools to do repair. The second year students, there are 3 of them. They'll be involved next week and the week after networking our central office downtown. So actually, they're learning hands-on how to check our computers, see what's wrong with them, replace parts as they are needed, and actually do the maintenance for Fleming County schools on our computers. So every school they've been to, they've gone room to room and taken serial numbers off everything, checked all the computers to make sure that they had copyright material on their computers, and have created a large notebook full of information of inventory control. So they're actually in charge of inventory control also. A lot of the places in software, if they come to work on your software, they're going to charge you $90 to $100 an hour from the time they leave where they're located before they get to us, and we're an hour-and-a-half drive from a large town. So it would be more cost-effective for us to train students to work with teachers in our school system. It teaches them, helps them to get a good job, and helps the school system also. So we're kind of working with each other, I guess you would say.
The commitment that we are having here at the high school is one that we are providing students release time to be able to interact with teachers. An example that we've had students assigned to certain teachers to clean their computers, check their software, and also any problems that they may have with their computer. Now there's sort of a partnership with the student and the teacher as far as maintaining the technology that they have in their classroom. And this is sort of a little bit different, and we've made that commitment for our students and our teachers, because we feel like this is a very important aspect of student leadership in our schools.
My greatest excitement is coming from watching these young people go on December 14th on Club Day. They are assigned to 5 different teachers in the building. They'll be working with that teacher during the teacher's planning period, and they are going to teach teachers how to use computers. Then we're going to do a follow-up on how the teacher can use one computer to teach a class in their classroom. So we're very excited. We're interested in teaching the teachers this and showing the teachers, in a way, another form of CARA, that our students can teach themselves. They can develop themselves. All we need to do is let them expand, let them develop. And that's another thing that we hope to achieve in this, that teachers can learn, they can guide from the side.
Well, we appreciate Fleming County sharing with us this afternoon on how they're making STLP gains in their district. Before we go much further, we want to make sure that we clarify an issue. Inadvertently, the names attached to the two of the film clips you just saw, the principal at Fleming County High School is Jean Peterson rather than as was listed, and the lady we saw at the end is one of the STLP coordinators from Fleming County High School, Andrea Darnell. And we've all learned that technology is only as smart as the users behind it. And sometimes I think that we all have days where the computers are probably a little smarter than we are in actuality. But Lee, as we look at the program in your school, one of the things that one of the teachers mentioned was the benefit that they had saved in money as you and your peers have been able to work with them in the hardware. Have you really been able to track that much to see what kind of savings you are looking at there? But besides cost, what other benefits have your peers and yourself gained from participating in this program?
I don't believe we have an actual figure, but we can, just by the price of maintenance by any other company, it's amazing. We can save so much money on just one job, $90 to $100 an hour servicing. We still have to buy the parts. We do recycle. If one computer goes down, we will take all the good parts out and recycle them. It's really good that we can let the students learn everything about this, because this will give them an opportunity later in life. It's really an outreach from both parties, the students and the school.
That's great. Now, Ms. Darnell, who we saw featured in part of the film clip, from what I understand, she is one of 3 advisors that actually steers and guides the program at your school. How does this work, and why did you all select this particular structure for your program?
Because STLP covers so many different entities and curriculum areas, we thought it would be best that we have as many as possible groups. We have, she is an English teacher. We have Dawn Sundays, who is a science teacher, and we have Mr. Dave Gray, who is our media teacher, who runs our television lab. And the three expertises come together so well, it helps our program in many different ways. We have many more opportunities, and each one of them can guide in their own separate way.
And I think that's one of the things that I liked in looking at this clip, is because this is one possible structure for how the STLP can be put or implemented in a school. And that's one of the things I think that has been exciting on the council. We had to look at the issue of flexibility. And sometimes flexibility became a real problem because some people had some strong ideas about what STLP should look like in your schools. But I think that flexibility is really important to making it work in schools. What do you all think? Cynthia?
Well, I feel that it's very important for the STLP program to show the diversity of the school. If you have students that are only in the advanced program, that are in the program, then the other students will feel like only advanced students can be student leaders. But if you start your program and you make sure that students know that they can apply, they can let it be known that they want to be leaders. If they are what people call regular program students, these students, regular doesn't mean regular in technology, because technology doesn't have any limits, because a student can learn as much as he or she wants in technology. And I feel that students feel like they are important. They feel like they can do things that maybe sometimes they have trouble in the academic areas. Maybe some of them have trouble with behavior when they have to sit for long periods of time. But you find that sometimes when they're performing a task using a technological tool, they enjoy it. You don't have the same particular problems. And it's very good for the the ego of these students, because they are the ones that the other students look up to, because if they're having a problem, they usually say, oh, the tech will know what to do, and they love that part of it.
Also, there are many different things when you're talking about flexibility that the students can do. Not all students will be technically oriented and be able to take parts from one machine and put into another. Not all of them will be able to help students in a computer lab and know the applications. So, some of them will be able to run wiring. And that flexibility is real important, because the students can then just fit into each niche as they grow. Some of them may stay with one. Some may diversify and know everything there is to know. Some may learn to be programmers. Some may go out into the community and make presentations just to the small businesses to say, we're here, how can we partner with you? So.
Okay, we'll come back to that point, because I think we've got some more video ahead that will show us some options for that. But there's one more thing that I'd like to address before we get away from this. When we were talking about the STLP program coordinator, this is the person at the school level that's responsible for making sure students are recruited and helping them get started, and will work with us in being the liaison between the school program and then the district or state programs as well. As an administrator, what kinds of person or what type of person would you be looking for if you were saying, okay, you've got this great new program, the state has sent it down and said, here it is. What kind of person would you be looking for that would be effective in this role of being a program coordinator?
I would be looking for a professional that thinks outside the box. Not someone that has the clear-cut ideas that everything has to fit. You have to be, just know that there are no limits. And also be willing to give up control that we seem to accept very readily as educators, and facilitate the students in a learning mode, excuse me, in a learning mode, instead of kind of being a dictator. Give them some leeway, let them learn, guide them, let them make mistakes, and learn from them.
Lee, as you've been able to work with the program coordinators at your school, what are the characteristics that you've seen in these teachers that made them effective as coordinators?
These teachers are from the new generation of guys from this side. It's really wonderful to see them in action. Two of the teachers are from the traditional classroom, you know, English, science. One of them is more of a vocational teacher. But they've all accepted the new way of guiding the students to let them choose their own curriculum, if you will. It's a wonderful thing to see old-style teaching turned into a new, flexible way.
That's great. Well, another part that we want to see from the Fleming County visit that we had there, we have another video clip where we look at another aspect. We have seen so far technology and student leaders in integrating it to instruction. We have seen student technology leaders in support of the technical side in benefiting the school. But another part of the STLP program is students with outreach efforts. The next one we're going to be looking at is outreach efforts between high school students and elementary students.
With having this program being student-driven, it shows the public that, you know, our students here at our high school are looking forward to jobs that have not even been created yet, and getting ready for the future. Not only is it just dealing with computers, it's dealing with other forms of technology that we have in our school. And coupled with the use of technology and the leadership that our students is showing, we're going to hope to provide other schools this same type of leadership.
I was the high school teacher that contacted Mrs. DeAtley as sponsor of the Student Technology Leadership Program. The major focus of that program is for students to reach out, not just to the schools, but to our community as well. So we decided, since Flemingsburg Elementary is the closest elementary school to us, we wanted to do cross-peer tutoring.
One of the things that I expect to come out of the partnership that we have started with Fleming County High School is the fact that some of my students then will become peer tutors in this school also, not only to help their classmates but to help other classes and other teachers.
And then hopefully, as they go into the middle school and to the high school, they can become more and more involved until we can get all of our students interested in taking a leadership role in technology, using technology every day in their life, and helping others with technology. I think it's a very, very good start for Fleming County. I think we are very progressed in our technology department anyway, so far, but I think this is really going to add to it. I think it's going to be a great benefit to everyone in Fleming County.
Well, first of all, I think all of our teachers need some help with the computers and with technology. And we have one of the finest technology departments, I think, in this area, certainly, at our high school. So we're very excited about these students coming in and helping us all. You know, if I can get them down to the office, I'll let them help me a little bit. They do really a fine job, and we're very excited about this program, and I think we'll all benefit greatly from having this program.
Lee, we've just seen a good example of how your schools are beginning to partner together. Tell us a little more from the student side, though, about this high school partnership. Is it exciting to be able to go out and do something like this? And what kind of changes have you seen occurring in the students in the elementary school, but also in the high school students going out?
Well, first of all, it's very exciting. A lot of our students who are in this activity have never partnered before. They've never experienced peer mentoring except in their own age group, in their own classroom, the way peer editing and writing is done today. The experience has been wonderful so far. We developed a survey for the teachers to fill out so they can identify the areas that their students need extra help in. Then we just narrowed it down, decided what areas we were going to focus on, and made the trip. The students were very excited to have us there. It was a new experience for them too. It really is a good thing. There are two things that are learned here. The younger students learn technology skills, the older students learn peer mentoring skills, which will in turn help them in every way throughout life, I think.
I think you're right. And I have heard through the grapevine now that you were part of another special program in your district. Something about last summer working in summer school and setting up an email to help in the writing process. That sounds exciting, but tell me a little more about it.
Okay. Our district bulletin board, which I am the SysOp of, is system operator, has different discussion areas. My English teacher from last year contacted me and wanted to know if she could have her students write messages to me to help them develop writing skills. Writing on email is a little different than what they're used to, but the skills are the same. They need to develop their writing skills to the point where they don't have to use hand gestures. You can't do that on a computer. There is no way. They're used to writing for the teacher. On technology, it just develops their writing skills so much further because they must be articulate, they must use lots of adjectives, and it's good for them to take back to the classroom when it comes time for portfolios, etc.
I agree. I agree with Lee, because when you have students using email, the students, some of the students that know are in a program with middle school students in Corbin, Kentucky, and we are trying to develop pen pals there. And when it's time to type up a message, they'll get to the end of the line and say it won't do the same thing, it doesn't have it. And so, but this is very good for them because they see that they think of the word wrap and they think of typing, but then when they see that you can also go ahead and type, and it's a different way. And when they can't believe that you can actually send the message through the telephone line, they're very excited. And every 2 or 3 days they say, I want to send another message. I said, well, let's wait for them to answer you first. And then I said, but why don't you go ahead and start thinking of some things that you want to tell them? But they're very excited about it. And I think students see that it's more than just a computer now. You can outreach. It's something, you can use that computer and you can reach people in other parts of the world. And it's very exciting to them.
One of the things you mentioned is something that I've been curious about because I've been able to witness it in the classroom, is that for a long time, a lot of students considered computer time as game time. Let's go play on the computers. I mean, you'll still hear when you interview a lot of the students, they'll say, what's your favorite thing? Flight simulator or some of these other wonderful activities that are games. I guess they're called edutainment now, but there's a lot more to it than that. Do you all see in your, as a student or as an administrator or teacher, are you seeing the change, though, that students start to, as you say, recognize it's more than a place to play or a game, and how it can make a difference in their work habits?
Sure. We had a situation where we had to put programs together for a technology showcase. And I went down to a classroom and I said, Ms. Beeler, I would like for your students to give me some graphs. And the students were just thrilled. They got on the computer and they did their surveys. I mean, they did the questions on their surveys. They went by all the students, got their data, put it into the computer, and then they printed the graphs out. But they didn't just print one graph. They printed a pie graph and a bar graph and a line graph. And so they were actually able to apply a lot of the information to the computer and use the technology then to give a visual display. And for children who learn visually, that's what we've got to have.
I know what Linda's talking about because I guess about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had a health nutrition fair at Knoll, and technology was a part of this fair. The technology assistants helped to plan it. They requested different types of software to be used with this fair. They installed the software in the computers. They set up the stations. They had software stations, CD-ROM stations, Laserdisc player, and what they did, they assisted small groups of students and these students learned more about the body. They used a piece of software called Decisions by Tom Snyder, Anybody Works. They also used Laserdisc programs, and the students found out that this computer is more for just doing the word processing program. They used the timeliner program. They actually took the timeliner program and developed a timeline and traced food through the digestive system and developed a timeline. And when it printed up, they could look at this timeline. They could see it in a different light than just looking at a picture and seeing the food traced through this. They can actually see the steps.
And I'm sure your students were excited to be able to take a leadership role in that area because that allows them to, again, show what they can do besides what they know, and I think that's important. Well, so far we've looked at what is an STLP. We've seen it from a couple different perspectives so far. We've looked at it as an extension of instruction, as students use their skills in training and peer tutoring. We've seen it as a technical support for schools, a mechanism where they can work together and help in some of the issues that are problematic for the implementation of technology today. We've also looked at it as an outreach tool where schools can link together in a personnel support system. So that's part of what the program's about, but the program is still focused in one area. It's focused on students. It's focused on the individual, the capability of that individual and all the others that work together. The next clip we're going to be looking at is a case study, if you will, of one student and his journey in becoming a student technology leader.